What's up, Metal Summoners? How are you guys all doing today? We are super stoked, as always, to have you right back with us a day after our normal time to continue the rock and roll, continue the fun times. We are bringing back a friend of the show, TMS alumni. We got a lot of fun things to talk about. We're going to rock and roll all night with you guys, and we're going to have a good one. We got Vick LeCar. Welcome back, my friend.
How you guys doing? Thank you for having me back.
Of course, man.
It's really
absolutely.
a pleasure.
Oh, definitely, man. Absolutely. Always welcome to have you back. Well, first and foremost, man, to fill in the fans a little bit, but also just to see how you're doing and how you're feeling. How are you feeling, man? You definitely had a little bit of a scary situation a few months back, but you sound good. You look good, but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I wish I could look the way I feel. I look a lot better. Anyway, I feel great. I had an issue with a triple bypass, which is like I got new pipes in my heart, 3 of them, and I'm still in recovery, but I'm doing pretty well. Like I work out every day, I walk and run and all the stuff. I'm cardiac rehabilitation. I go there 3 times a week, and I'm just building back. I lost a lot of muscle through the surgery and all that, and I'm trying to gain that back and then just get back in shape. And I'm ready to rock, man. I'm ready to tour, to do whatever has to be done to rock and roll, to keep rock alive. So
absolutely,
I'm cool. I
For
appreciate
sure.
you asking.
Of course, man. Absolutely. And so while you have this, a little bit of downtime when it comes to recovery, of course, like that, because you're exercising, you're getting everything out there, but of course you don't want to put too much strain on yourself. What have you been doing in your downtime? Have you been concentrating on music and working on some new tunes and stuff like that? How have you kind of been filling that downtime, since we last had you on and since the surgery?
Well, I couldn't pick up my guitar for about 3 months. The first 3 months, it was just too heavy, and I was literally just sitting in an upright position for a long time. So as I said, muscles and everything just went to crap in no time, really fast. But I did work some tracks that are being recorded in Europe. I did some stuff like that, meaning as choose tracks that people have recorded, the other musicians have recorded. I'm dealing with a lot of legal things right now. I can't really openly speak about it because we're going through some legalities. After that gets done, I sure will be able to tell and to show you exactly what's going on. And I think you guys are really going to love it, to be honest with you. It's like what I'm doing now, but on steroids. It's really good hard rock. But yeah, I did play. I played once I was able to put the guitar on my lap. I started playing, sort of getting back into the swing of things, and just basically writing a lot of lyrics, lots of lyric writing, and of course keeping up the good word, meaning as keeping up the good attitudes, a positive attitude those things, because you have 2 choices. You can either be feel sorry for yourself and go down, or just say fuck it and keep on going forwards, and make yourself stronger.
Absolutely, for sure. You had mentioned about you've got music that you're kind of remastering and tweaking, giving fresh looks to and stuff like that. What can you tell us about some of the music that maybe you're looking to tweak as well as stuff you've put out?
Yeah, I can definitely speak openly about this one. This is the one that I recorded towards the end of the last year, and it came out early this year. But I was not happy with the mastering, and I was not happy with the artwork. So I made a new friend through another friend, a new friend. People used to. I know this guy. That whatever. A friend of mine named Scott Jackson, a great bass player out of New Jersey. He introduced me to Bumblefoot, and then Bumblefoot and I were talking about it and this and that thing, and he's got a nice production company. So I go, dude, man, how about you remastering some of my tunes? He goes, sure, a really nice guy, by the way. And so he remastered. So now the tunes, they sound like literally a punch in the nose, and they sound a lot heavier. Not to tell you that how much guitars have in front,
Sure.
Because for some reason with 2 guitar players, the guitars are but I'm not liking it. I'm actually enjoying it. and I wanted a new cover. I wanted a cover that means something aside from just obviously put your hands up with the fist and all the stuff that the original ones. So I contacted this artist. His name is Boris Mena, and he I told him what I wanted. He decided. He's got the lone wolf with the moon and all the stuff that I think we all love. All of them. All of us, we somehow, some way, are like lone wolves. You know, one way or another. Or if you're not, you have felt like one at one point. There you go. But but you know what I'm talking about. So it's
Yeah.
basically that's what I wanted, and the coloration is awesome. It's like explosive, you know. So I'm looking forward to it has been released already on the TuneCore. TuneCore, yeah, TuneCore. That's what it's called. And I'm changing all my music on TuneCore, all my other music, like from the Blue Moon to the Six Shooter, all my singles. I'm going to put them on that within time. This just happened literally this week, you know. So yeah, man, to give it a listen when you get a chance. Put a link on that, and I would love to hear. It's really cool. Like the first song, "Put Your Hands Up," is really heavy. Drop D, you know, and then the other ones have a whole bunch of different textures and I would say colors from different influences that I have had through the years. Some
Yeah.
of them sound like Santanish, you know. Some of them sound like more like in the blues realm, and other ones sound very deep purplish, you know. But
Mhm.
it's only 5 songs, and as I said the last time I was on, I'm a writeraholic, so I'm constantly writing, you know.
Sure.
I walk by one of my guitars and I play some. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. I write a tune, you know what I mean? It's just I'm very grateful to be able to do that because I see how people struggle with the
Yeah.
songwriting, which is songwriting is the main thing for anything. You could be the best player in the world of any instrument, but if you don't have a song, you still don't have anything. You know, you
Yeah.
just get higher and fire like everybody else does, and then you know, kicking the can all over the place. That sounds like a song, right?
Absolutely.
but
No.
but basically, yeah, songwriting is so crucial for an artist to me, and the reason why I do this is because I there's a difference between a musician and an artist, you know, and an artist that express himself through either painting or music, you know, and I like to be in the part. I would like to self-claim myself as an artist that express myself through music more than just you know, excuse me, more than just knowing all the techniques and playing this and that and the other thing. Technique is a wonderful thing. It's a vocabulary that is great for everyone to learn, but it's never the main thing. You know,
Yeah.
if you, it's just songwriting style and of course the show. You know.
Absolutely, 100%. Hey, what's up, Kim? Thanks for popping on and checking out the show and supporting Vic. We appreciate you. Vic, let me ask you, man, if you don't mind. One thing I just find very interesting, and I love to kind of dive a little bit into, like, you know, a little bit of a songwriter's kind of like brain and thought process on stuff. You know, with this opportunity to not only work with Bumblefoot, but also just rework your songs, just kind of in general. What was it about the original stuff that you weren't like particularly happy with? I mean, did you feel that they were rushed, or did you feel like maybe the technical side, as far as like the studio stuff, just wasn't crisp enough? If you don't mind, we'd love to hear a little bit about what you didn't like about them to allow for this better recording version.
Sure. Well, it basically was just the mastering. It was not like the playing or anything like that. I think that
Sure.
the playing is very soulful, even though in some of the songs there was a bit too much of comping stuff, which I'm not a fan of. But at times it's kind of needed. It's like a new thing now in recording, and then oh well, change this one with this one, and the cut and paste and all that. To me kind of kills the soulful part of playing in music, you know. But we had a little bit of that, so I'm not completely thrilled on that side. But otherwise, I think that musically is very expressive. Express itself like the music sounds like what is supposed to sound with each song. So, but basically, the overall thing was that the mastering. You know, mastering is the EQing of the overall after you get done. And I believe that the mastering originally it was too dull. It was kind of flat. It was it was just flat. It was all right, but it was flat. Now it's
Sure.
like much more rounded with much more texture, and you know, like you can hear the instruments clearer, you can hear the singer clearly, and you can sure hear the guitar. You know? But
Yeah, it's
anyway,
just more properly layered though.
yeah, it just, you know, the good thing about doing this with Bumblefoot was that I believe that I know that he's a great guitarist, and to be such a great guitarist, you got to have a great ear, you know. So I kind of like just completely trust his ear to do this, and of course his skills. So so it came out killer. Now I'm happy with what it is, you know, with how it came out. So hopefully it does well as well, you know, with other people. Even though I just had a, this is pretty interesting. You guys might want to hear this. I had a what was that?
Oh no,
I
nothing.
hear some. Oh, okay.
No.
I just hear something. Anyway, I just had a conversation with someone about this, and it was like it kind of, it hit me on the wrong place. Um, geez, I was going to say something, and it kind of threw me off. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Uh,
Sorry, that was background on my end. Sorry about that, Vic.
all right, that's cool. Well, anyway, change the conversation. If it comes back to me, I'll get back to the interesting point that I was going to say. I see you guys interviewed Michael T. Ross, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Nice guy, really nice guy. Great keyboardist, you know.
Yeah, Michael was awesome. Yeah, Angel and I ran into him at M3. He was playing with Aldo Nova at the festival at M3 a couple of months back, and he really took a liking to the show and wanted to be on it. So I shot him a text a couple of weeks later with a couple of dates. He's like, "I like that one." I was like, "You're in."
Yeah. Well, it's a great show to be on. You know, you guys can really, obviously you're rockers, so you can really relate to all of us, you know, and I know different kinds of music. What do you guys listen to, like in particular?
Go ahead, Angel. Why don't you start this one off, brother?
I listened to Kickin' Valentina, Hammer Down Hard, Motley Crue, Metallica. I still listen to a lot of the 80s stuff, but I really work on the newer bands because those are the bands that are going to be around in 10 years or so. So I definitely want to support them because I definitely want rock music to still be around.
Yeah, I have something to say about that. It's not going anywhere. You know, it's just so big all over the world, and there's a lot of countries that are coming up now that the U.S. and England are, I would say, infiltrating, but that our music, our rock music, it's just really getting to it. Even in the U.S., you have a resurface of a lot of the '80s music, and obviously, not a lot of people are coming up with good stuff because they keep going back to '70s and '80s music nonstop. I'm like, why? I mean, there is a lot of good new good music, and even though all those guys from the old timers, you know, we'll say the old school, like from high school, they're coming up with good stuff as well. But it's not being airplay because it's not what they hit with, you know. I think that's kind of stupid. It's ridiculous. But that's all like bureaucracy and radio station crap, you know. It's all about the buck, actually.
Yeah, I kind of miss the old days when a DJ can play what he likes.
Yeah.
You know, that's how Bon Jovi had a hit song. That's how Def Leppard had a hit song.
Yeah.
Of course, Sugar on Me was a DJ being able to play a song that he likes or play the B side of something.
Yeah, it's not now they have the musical director.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I think the musical director has a nice fat bank account. You know what I mean? But that was back then as well. They used to call it payola, and it was kind of illegal to mention that, and it was illegal to do it, but they did it. So if they didn't do it with money, they'll do it with other substance that were very famous at the time. You know, it's like what's that movie? Scarface comes to mind. So they paid with that. We paid with brand new cars and so on, so on. So yeah, it it's one of the biggest disappointments in the music part for me. The one thing that it was is like when I listened to all these great players, I go, wow, man, everybody can play, you know, and that was the number one thing. And but then it came up to the creative part. I go like, yeah, but they all sound the same. A lot of these guys sound the same. They use the same scales. They listen to the same people. It's just the same thing. They take from here, from there, and all the stuff. And sometimes sounds cool, sometimes it doesn't. So it all depends on the song, of course. And the other thing that really disappointment, and this is like not too long ago, is I mean a few years back, is that how much money, how many things get bought and sold, like literally like merchandise, you know, musically. It's it's disappointing to see that you have this great artist on this side, right, and it's not going anywhere. And you listen to it, and man, this dude, real girl, whatever, they really have it, and they're great. And then you have this other one that's like, you know, and they're like popping all the way to the top. That's because a lot of them are paying for it, and the music industry should be ashamed of, but they're not because they're making the bucks. So that was very disappointing, and still very disappointing, you know. But anyway, that's not going to stop me from doing what I do anyway, and it shouldn't stop anybody. There's always a way. When there's a will, there's always a way to get through things, some way, somehow. You know. Look, man. Like about 4 months ago, I didn't think I was going to be alive. So,
Wow.
Everything is possible. So it's pretty cool.
Man,
So yeah.
Just curious to ask, how did that experience change you as a person and as a musician?
You mean the health issue thing?
Yeah, the health.
It changed me to the point where to just say whatever I feel like saying. I don't think it's worth to keep quiet on anything. It taught me to fight a bit harder. You know, it's like a lot of times you keep quiet. People say things and you keep quiet and smile, and like then you go home and you're like, man, I should have said this. I should have said that. And I was not like that when I was a kid. They used to call me straight up Vick, you know, because I would just say things. And so I was told and taught to hold back and not to say things. And this experience has changed me back, put me back to that kid that would tell people often, if it not off, but just say what you think, you know what I mean, and what you see, and speak what your truth is instead of like holding back. We're here for a short amount of time. Just do the best that you can and live your life, you know, live your life basically. That's what it taught me. I'm really bad at putting up with shit nowadays. That's for sure. That's one thing that I tell you flat out. That it changed that. It's like, but they said like during your recovery, you have you go through different phases where you go like, you know, you go to depression, you go to like everything annoys you and this and that thing. And I've been through all of those, but I've overcome them. You know, I've overcome stuff, and learning to overcome situations is one of the things that I would like to tell people, you know, about it. You just gotta learn to overcome things. That's all. They're going to be there. Life is never going to be everything beautiful. Actually, I have a new saying, which is, life is like a diamond. It's beautiful, but it's hard as shit. So, but it is beautiful. Everything about it is beautiful. You know, like everywhere you go, it's beauty everywhere. You know, but it's not an easy life to live. To you know, basically that's it. It's just think of a diamond. We live in a diamond. You know. But yeah, that's those are things that I came up with during my recovery. I mean, I'm still recovering, but I feel really good. You know, I'm working out. I'm getting my canvas back. You know, I'm completely ripped now. It's a joke. I'm like I have a big scar. Actually, my nickname would be Vick LeCar. But anyway, yeah, sense of humor is one thing that I like to keep alive as well. You know. But yeah, that's that's what I learned. I mean, there's a lot more, but I don't think you guys have all night. You know, and probably music is what we would like to talk more about, right?
We'll talk about anything. Like we love talking about like health, you know, like you know, different things that have changed, opportunities that have come from it, and of course, music. You know, just like you said, Vic. I mean, it. You know, life is short enough. You know, so anything that makes for like great conversations, and plus anything that can also like help people out as well too, is
Absolutely.
always going to be incredibly valuable on this show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything that I can help someone with, I will. You know, so anything that helps anybody to succeed or to just to overcome things, basically, that's the main thing. Like, because success is measured in so many different ways. You know, one of the I always said that one of the ways of succeeding is like how you play. You know, do you succeed to play like the way you want to play? Are you able to express yourself musically with your instrument the way that you want to? You know, it's like I spoke to a good friend of mine not too long ago. He goes, man, because I'm about 80% of the guitar player that I want to be. I'm like, oh, that's great for you, man, because I'm still my 65%. You know, so I still have a lot to learn myself. But yeah, accomplishments. You know, you have to set yourself goals, deadlines, and all that. So it's very important. You know, because if it's not, life will pass you by so quick. You know, it's amazing how fast. Like I tell you, I don't mean to keep talking about the health thing, but I was in the hospital the surgery day. The second day I was up standing around, walking, and all this stuff. And I go into the hallway of the hospital, and I'm looking at her like, I can't believe I had fucking heart surgery. Are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, me? It would have never happened to me, you know. But things happen, and I'm pretty much, I'm like a ram. I'm an Aries, so I go, you know, I just ramp through things. I don't, you know, dance to the tulips, to say. But yeah, so basically, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And also getting back to the question that you asked with like me and Angel is like, you know, similar to Angel. You know, I always listen to like Motley Crue and stuff like that. I grew. I'm also a big like, but I'm also a really big like goth rock guy. So I'm into like the 69 Eyes. I listen to a lot of Typo Negative. I'm also love to anything that's kind of like spooky and scary. So I listen to like a lot of horror punk. I'm a big like Blitzkid fan, Misfits, like silent horror. But then, you know, I've also, you know, I'm also into like, you know, a lot of like kind of like, you know, various stuff that like it's got a little bit more electronic kind of base to it, a little bit more of that like kind of like a little bit like electro gothy kind of stuff as well. It's like bands like Orgy or Ray Gun Romance, or there's a band called the Haxons that I'm a really big fan of that are made up of Ash Costello, who sings for a band called New Year's Day, and Matt Montgomery, or Piggy D, or Count D, as a lot of people know him, who's currently the bass player for Marilyn Manson, and he just left a near 20-year tenure with Rob Zombie. So
Oh wow.
I'm kind of all over the place, but like goth rock, glam rock, you know, horror punk, and like kind of like, you know, electro goth kind of stuff are kind of like my four little parts of my diamond, or my square that's turned sideways,
Yeah.
or however you want to look at it.
Hey, if you look at a square, a diamond this way, it's not square anymore, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's cool, man. That's music is a beautiful thing, and it's such a great way of expressing yourself through. So I believe in all different type of music. I write certain things that are completely different than what I do. You know, I mean, sometimes I write like almost like a prog type thing, like things that are very complicated, you know, musically. And I enjoy playing, but I don't enjoy playing them like the band itself would have to be so tight, you know. But I just sit there and I write it, and I play it, and I, you know, and then I play the bass to it, and I have drum things that I program. But at one point, I'm not completely that crazy about it, you know. I'm not very swift with the engineering type of recording, so they're like just like demos for myself and all that. But I did there was a band called OTEP, I think, with a girl singing.
Oh yeah, Otel.
Yeah. Years ago, they were under with a record company called Victor Records, and they called me up to write songs, and I wrote a whole bunch of songs for them, and they were all on that kind of vein. but the record company loved them, right? But she said they were too melodic.
Oh,
So, but that's cool. I still have them. You know, they're still my songs. So uh, maybe I just put some melodic uh, lyrics to it, and at one point release it. You know.
absolutely. No, 100%. For somebody like you, Vic, that's already like really dialed in when it comes to writing songs, and you always like staying active, and you always like putting together ideas and keeping yourself really like vigilant when it comes to that kind of stuff. Do you find that having a situation like what you dealt with has really revved up your engine even more? Because like when it comes to pumping out ideas and writing music, you've always been like really revved up on that. But does having a situation like that really put like you on like a higher octane?
Oh yeah, I'm on fire. I'm literally on fire. I want to go play like a bigger and bigger places right now. I'm like completely uh, um, on fire. It's a proper way to say it. You know, I'm ready to go, and at any minute you can call me right now to go play a concert. I will go, even if I don't know the songs, I learn them on my way there. You know,
Sure.
but yeah, it definitely put up fire up my tail. Um,
Did working with Bumblefoot maybe did it allow in any way for any like professional conversations as far as like working together or even possibly touring together or even just doing like some shows and stuff because he has Art of Anarchy that he does and he's always incredibly active as well with everything that he does. Did you guys get a chance to have any conversations about maybe doing any kind of live stuff together?
No, unfortunately not. But I tell you what, we hit it off really cool. Like we completely we made good friends from from the get go,
Yeah.
and but you never know, and things like that. I don't like to predict or like sort of like work my way around the thing. I let just like the universe kind of take over all those things, and if they happen, it will be great. I mean, he's aside from being a great guitar player, he's a great guy,
Yeah.
and Scott, the guy who introduces, is also like an awesome guy. Like these are like really good, good-hearted, down-to-earth people. That they're just very talented, and but we did not speak about. We haven't spoken about anything like that. Um, but have you tried Bumble's Food hot sauce?
I haven't, but we did talk. We were very fortunate to have him on the show, and we did talk about his hot sauce. Though I haven't had a chance to try it, but I've heard it's dynamite. I've heard it's really good.
It's killer, man. I'm like I'm going into a carnivore thing pretty soon. I'm just setting myself ready. I want to get out of the whole, you know, recovery
Yeah,
thing, and then I want to go and I think that the kind of sauce that she makes will be perfect just for like all kind of beef. But I had tried it, and he gave me a couple of bottles when he was here,
nice.
and they were freaking awesome, And people here are loving it. And I'm in New Orleans, like they have like some of the best food here, and
Hmm.
whoever I have turned on to, they're loving it. So pretty good for him. That's pretty intelligent of him. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about coming out with a wine for me with my name.
Oh,
Yes,
Vic, if
everybody's
that, if
doing
that if
that.
that goes down, please send me a bottle or let me buy a bottle. I'm a huge wine nerd.
If it ever happens, I will. What kind of a wine do you like best?
So I'm very partial to red personally.
Yeah,
Like
me too. Yeah.
white is nice. I enjoy it. The occasional bubbles, that's cool too. It doesn't sink my boat, but it just doesn't really float it either. I'm a real like I'm a real big like reds guy. Like I'm particularly into like cabernets and certain types of blends because I kind of like my reds to be more ballsy. I like the grapes to be kind of stiff, preferably. I like Pinot Noir just fine. There's a few brands that I do enjoy, but I don't really tend to drink too much of it personally because I find it to be a little too thin for my taste. Um, but I like Merlots quite a bit, but red blends and Cabernets are really kind of like my thing. There's
Yeah.
the two brands I probably drink the most out of anything is I really like what this brand 19 Crimes out of Australia does, and they do a lot of collaborations as well. But probably my favorite overall, I forget exactly what district they do their grapes and their vineyards are in, but they're called Apothic. and I'm a huge fan of those guys. Like I pretty much like I've liked every red I've drank from them. I just tend to drink their their dark blend, their regular blend, and their Cabernet most regularly. But they also have a one called Inferno that is kind of it's like a red blend, but it's got a little bit of like almost kind of like a spice to it. It's got like a little bit of heat to it, like not like hot to it, but it's just got a little bit of like that just kind of spice on the palate kind of
I get it. I get it.
yeah. And so I like that quite a bit. So yeah, overall, probably my favorite consistent company would be the Apothic vineyards. I like
Cool.
them.
I'm
I
not
like
familiar with them. I will check them out. But I have some that Angelo might appreciate. I like Malbec, you know.
Okay.
And if you drink Malbec from this place in Argentina, and the name of the wine is called Dos Alamos, two Alamos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the tree, like your last name. um, and I, you know, I have drank wine from really good quality, and now the most expensive wine is what I have liked actually. Something in the middle, it's just fine. You know, you have to drink a lot of wine to be able to nail one that you like. But if you find one of those bottles, man, buy it and you tell me later on what you think of. It was like it's like perfect. It's smooth but strong at the same time. You know. Yeah, it's called Dos Alamos.
Okay. I've got a couple of liquor stores like very close to my place, so I'll have to pop out in the next little bit
Yeah.
and check it out. And yeah, Angel, maybe you and I will have to get down a little bit with a glass of that apiece and send pictures over to Vic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shoot, get some sponsorship out of them. I mean, they have my last name, so
Yeah, there you go. What it is like being a Chilean born. Chile's got great wines, you know, like really good wines, and they're very inexpensive in comparison to French wines and all this stuff. But from all things, I'm like a trader, it's like a Judas, because I drink the Argentinian wine, you know. But it just happened that's what I liked. I forgot where I tried it first, but it must have been a steakhouse for sure, you know. It's really nice. It's like on the money, like, and I like that. And it's, as I said, it's not expensive. I can't tell you exactly what the bottle goes, but I just had I had a bottle of what was Alexander the Great's horse name? I forgot how to pronounce the name, but it was it means red ox. That's what the name means. But it's this wine that it's really high end, and it was great, but you know, it didn't really tickle me as much as the Dos Alamos did. Like, so yeah, wine is a beautiful thing. Sometimes people go and pay like a lot of money for wine that's not that good, you know, and then just a
Yeah.
lack of knowledge, you know. Um,
Yeah,
not
as far as
everything.
like I was gonna say just like as far as the rock world goes, Jeff Tate from Queensryche has apparently he's a big wine guy and has like a
Okay.
vineyard or some kind of partnership that he does for his own wines.
Oh, cool. Well, Jolene Turner had his wine for a little bit.
Oh, that's
I don't
true
know.
too.
I don't know what happened. I never asked him actually. Should have asked him to send me a bottle. He just played. He just played Colombia actually, and it went great. You know, it's amazing how all these other countries have always been rock there, but how they pack
yeah,
places. You know, and here in New Orleans is more like a jazz and New Orleans music type of thing. So rock is kind of like iffy. I don't get a lot of work playing rock here. That's for sure. But
Oh, okay.
so I have to look. I have to look out. I hope to go to Europe this at one point this year. I was supposed to go to Finland when I had the surgery, but it was doctors told me not to fly, and I
Oh,
had the surgery at the same time as the event was. It was a pretty cool thing to happen. But yes, I couldn't do it. So hopefully I'll get to do it sooner than later. As I said before, I'm ready to go, man, and I'm on fire. So you know,
no,
I gotta share. I gotta share this with you guys.
of course.
A good friend of mine, for years and years ago, right when I first came to the States, I lived in North Bergen, New Jersey, and I, you know, we were kids, teenagers. You know, it was like mid to late teens, and I met one of these guys. Everybody played guitar. Everybody played this thing. So this friend of mine, we became really good friends, and we had bands together. We were terrible, but he turned out to be a really good guitar player. So we're catching up not too long ago, and I said, like, man, I had this surgery, and I keep bringing the shit up, not purposely, but it's just in relation to what I'm saying. So I go like, so I need a guitar that's lighter. So I'm looking to put one of my old Strats back together, and I need a neck. Do you happen to have a neck? He goes, oh, he goes, so send me your address. And I go, I'll buy it if I don't, have to send me anything, So he goes, look, man, I'll get back to you. So then he sends me a message. Can you talk? I go, sure. So he calls me with the camera, with the camera on. And he shows me all these guitars. And he goes, dude, any of these guitars you can pick is yours. So I go like, I can't do that. I can't just pick a guitar. But then he was like, oh, don't worry about it, man. He goes, we had it was a really cool thing because at the time in North Bergen, trucks were getting really big and really bad. And we lost a lot of people to it. And he's younger than me, and we were very young. And I used to tell him, just stay in the good and the, in the right road. Don't go with drugs. Just be a good man all the time. And so he said, oh, because of that, he was taking guitars. Hold on a second. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what he sent me. He literally sent me a freaking guitar. I was like, so I'm going to put this one over here. So he sent me this thing, which is a custom-made guitar out of some guy from Hollywood. I heard about it. And he sent me this beautiful, it's very Van Halen-ish, but still, it screams, it's good. And he just sent it to me out of just being cool, And it sounds pretty cool, right? Can you guys hear me? Did I lose you over there?
Oh no, we're here. We
okay.
just yeah. We usually when we're listening to you speak, we might our microphones that way. There's nothing that like reverbs back and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, sound good.
It's awesome. I played it live last Tuesday. His name is Al Spawn. Al, if you're there, say hello. Say something. Al Spawn lives in Jersey still, and he has done really well for his life, and he's got a beautiful family. But
nice.
Anyway,
well, is there a story behind the front design, the red with the star?
The guy just makes them, and look him up. It's a AXN. I don't know. I might hit him up for a endorsement deal.
Yeah, get a guitar with your wolf and moon on it.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, right? Shoot, I have one. I have one with the wolf that I actually I don't know if you guys know, but I'm an artist as well. I paint and all this stuff. Oh. And yeah, so I did an acoustic guitar. I painted it white, and then I drew a wolf, but it's all the way up in the closet. That's pretty high. But yeah, hold on a second. Let me see if I can get this. This is one of my latest paintings. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm almost done with this one, but I paint a lot. I paint a lot of things as well. So yeah, I waste time, but it sounds like I'm real. I don't like to waste time. I like whenever I'm a big thinker, So even if I'm not getting up immediately, I'm just thinking of what am I doing the whole day, planning everything.
Oh yeah.
And then I just get up and go. But
are there any particular topics that you like to focus your art around in particular, or are you kind of like inspiration everywhere kind of thing?
Just inspiration. It just comes to me, and then I'm like I can see something, and then something will come up to me, and I'll think of something. Like I have a big white horse that I painted. It's I call it freedom. It's just a sign of freedom. I like freedom for some reason. I have a guitar player like just like wailing on stage, with an electric strat, and it's called. I have it up on top as well. I would have shown it to you, but it's up in the closet. I call that one the zone because when we're playing and you get into the zone and you just like, you don't know what's outside of the world, but it's just you and the guitar, and that's what that painting is for. And then I just do like sometimes I want to paint something like. I like the moon a lot. I like nighttime. Night. I like the night. So I like to paint like the ocean at night with the moon. You know, it's like I don't mean to sound like a freak, but I love the way to see that, like how the moon dances on the waves and the water and the rivers and all that stuff. So I kind of bring that into paintings as well.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah,
For
so
sure. Definitely. Angel, let me kick it back over to you, man. It looks like we've got a little bit of action from the fans as far as questions that they want to ask, but also, of course, some time for yourself, my guy.
Yes, let me go to Brian, who has his most interesting question that he asks every week. Uh, being a musician bring back a musician from the dead while sacrificing a modern. I know I said that question so freaking long.
can you
Okay,
repeat the question?
that one, my brain is.
Just take your time. I have plenty of it right now.
No, Jay, I need your help on that question because my brain. Okay. His favorite. Okay, bring back a musician from the dead. Okay, who would you bring back from the dead?
From the dead?
Yeah.
Nobody, man. I think they'll stink. It'll be too. Uh, I got a weird sense of humor, by the way. Well, if I was to wanted to see anybody that's gone, I saw Eddie Van Halen. He would have been the one, but Hendrix. I didn't get to see that Jimi Hendrix live.
Oh.
I think he's the father of what we do, and Eddie Van Halen is the other one. But I would say Hendrix.
Brian, any paranormal experiences?
Oh yeah, plenty. Yeah, I'm a little bit on that. I would say on the dark side, but I'm a little. I had I have certain things like sometimes I hear people breathing, and especially in this house here in New Orleans. I was upstairs. We have a room upstairs, and I hear it's like somebody breathing right next to me, real heavy, and it happened more than once. And I turned around and there was nobody there. Sometimes like the little shadow thing, like I turned around and looked. On my recovery, I was sitting in my bed. I'm sitting up like this, and I don't watch that much TV, but this time we got a TV because I spent a lot of time by myself. And I literally, and I'm getting goosebumps. I literally saw like a little girl sitting in front of me, like watching TV. And then I'm sort of like, kind of like sit up and stuff like that. I could barely sit up, so I tried, but it was gone. There was nobody there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I wasn't. I don't think I was dreaming, But yeah, there's a few things, and I do believe in spirits and ghosts and things like that. I believe that they exist. Because think about this, all right? I give you food for thoughts. Where's your mind? What part of your body? Where in your body is your mind? You can't answer that, right? Because you don't have a place where it's not in the front, the loop, and it's not on the back. Your brain is there, but where's your mind? So everything that we do, we learn, we experience. Where do all that goes when we're gone? This guy's got to go someplace, where we have that different shape of energies and all that stuff, shifts stuff, and so death is very real. But I think there is something after that, and I do believe in God. So for the ones that wonder. In my own way, though, I don't follow any religions or anything like that. I don't think. Actually, I believe that organized religion is kind of dangerous, and it has been something that people are freaks about it, and a lot of crimes are being committed through religion. Unfortunately, I don't think that that's what Jesus meant to do or say at all. I think it was a come together more than anything else. So Yeah, I believe on paranormal. That was a pretty long answer to your question.
Wow, the Beatles or Elvis?
Oh gosh, tough, 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 tough. Um, the Beatles are like the best songwriters in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Elvis never wrote a song, but he sure was the king of rock. So that's not a fair question, man. Who's asking that?
That's Brian's fault.
That's who.
Brian.
um, God, man, that's a real. I thought we were gonna say the Beatles or the Stones, and then but the Beatles of Elvis. I love Elvis as well, but I would say the Beatles. Just because of the songwriting, but the show and the rocking thing, Elvis had it all down.
Question from Mike from Hoboken, New Jersey, who's a big fan of yours.
Oh, right.
In, in your dream band, who is the front man?
In my dream band, I would say David Coverdale, early David Coverdale. You know, that's I have always loved David Coverdale and Paul Rogers, but I like Coverdale a bit better because he's like a harder, raspier, stronger singer. By the way, I'm working with a guy out of England named Paul Mancy. You guys got to listen to. He sings for a band called Sweet. Look him up when you get a chance. And I'm working with him. It's really happening, really happening. I really love his tone. But yeah, David Coverdale will be the frontman for my dream band. Dream band.
Um, when it comes to mixing and mastering a song, how do you know when a song is done?
Well, I go on mixing. I go by phases. Mixing first, right? Mixing. I go where with instrument placement, meaning it's like where every instrument is, each instrument, and then how clearly I can hear each instrument and how each instrument compares to the other one and complement each other, and then when they count the unit that a song is. That's how the mixing, and then the mastering. I'll listen to it as an overall, and I just make sure that the EQ, the bass is as strong as the heights and the mids, that everything is balanced, but not flat, more like a rounder sound. You know, it's like yeah, that's how I see mastering and mixing.
And as far as doing shows, will fans be able to see you do any live shows this year?
I'm trying. I have a band here in New Orleans, and I'm trying to get gigs and to hit the road, but I want to see how this record that just came out is going to do first, for a couple of months or so, maybe less, hopefully less, and then I'll start booking something, but it won't be booked for like at least another three months. So I'm hoping and praying to play live because I live to play live. I love playing live. Actually, I love playing live so much that I go to these open jams and play. Turn the freaking house on fire, and then it was right, dude. Can you lower your guitar? I can. I just don't want to. And, but anyway, yeah. So I'm definitely planning on live shows. Absolutely.
Jay, I'm gonna kick it. Hold on. Another question from Brian. That's a really good question. You moved around. How many languages do you understand or speak?
Fluidly, two. Uh, uh, that I can get around and I'm not going to be hungry in those countries. I would say another three. You know, um, Portuguese, Italian, Spanish, English, and I speak some German because of the. I still do train dogs, and professionally, and I train some of those attack dogs in German, so I know a little bit, and I did pretty well with my music years ago in Germany as well. So there's a communication. I don't know if it's having a good year as a musician, but I have a thing for languages. I really like them. And when I'm speaking to someone that speaks a different language, I'm also good at body language, so I can read not just what they're saying and hear what they're saying, but you know that they can do the body language, reading body language. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I like language. I think once I learned one different language than what I was raised with, there was this gate that opens in the back of your mind. It's like that illuminates like your brain, literally. I highly recommend anybody to learn any language they want. You know, actually, I should get back to learn something another language. But yeah, so I like different languages, and I understand and speak.
Awesome. I'm gonna kick it right back up to you, Jay.
Yeah, man, no problem. Yeah, so Vic, talk a little bit about what you're looking at for the end of 2024. Obviously, you know, you're finishing up and you're strengthening yourself up with like recovery and all that kind of stuff. But you know, we've got about a third to a quarter left in this year, and then looking into, of course, 2025. But what are some of your current goals, would you say, for the rest of this year? Definitely trying to get out to play shows, of course, but is the release of the record kind of like the main focal point?
Well, at this point it is, as I said, I'm not supposed to speak about this, but there's another recording that has been already done in Europe, and
Right.
and it's like we're going through some legal things right now. Once that's released, I have to speak to my manager in Europe and see what's going to be. So the literally the legality is out with my manager, so I can't openly speak about it. But
Sure.
once everything clears out, I sure will. And that's going to dictate on what's planned out for next year. But there are planned and there is talk about Europe, a lot of Europe, playing a lot of Europe in 2025. You
For
know,
sure. And so
so
you've got your band in New Orleans. I know that you mentioned that, you know, you've got players that you work with also overseas and stuff. Well, have we, you know, we've um Angel and I have talked to musicians that have, you know, the American band, they've got the foreign band and stuff, that also makes it a lot easier for them to travel when it comes to, you know, not only just the travel itself, but also just getting things set up contractually wise for when you're doing European dates versus American dates. Is that something that you've looked into, like something that you like, you know, having the ability to have players that you can hook up with overseas, and of course your main band here in the States?
uh, yes and no. I think it's a great thing to have a band in Europe, but I'm like such a like band guy. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be like this leader of a band. And all I wanted to do since I was a kid was just to play guitar in a rock band. That sounds cliche, but that's me. That's what I was. Excuse me. And at one point, I realized I was talking to actually. You guys don't mind if I drop some names, right?
No, go
I,
ahead.
I was talking to Bobby Rondinelli from the drummer from Rainbow at the Beacon Theater one time, and I go, Bobby, man, I go, I know your brother's a guitar player, he's a good guitar player, Teddy. I go like, but if you hear of anything that he doesn't want, he might not want to do, would you mind like hooking me up or whatever? You know, young guy was kind of looking for a break, and then he goes, well, he goes, Vic, he goes, so you got it all wrong. He goes, the problem is with all these bands, the guitar players are the leaders. You know what I mean? So you can't get a gig like that. And I'm like, wow. It's so that kind of hit me in a place where I feel like you got to get your shit together and put your own stuff together. You know, I mean, there's plenty of leaders at the singer is or whatever. Um, but since I was always the writer of every band that I was with, except for a band called Platinum out of Jersey, that's something that I don't want to talk about. I'm kidding, but it's just a band that would put out an album, recorded in Canada. Um, except for that band, I don't think I wrote anything for that band. But everything else, I was with Vicron. I was the band leader at the time, and I wrote all the music and the lyrics. The singer Brian Giresco, great guy too. Um, that was a band that was really like ahead of its time. It was almost like a heavier. more heavier metal than what I do, but it was good at the time. It was almost like I don't know, Megadeth-ish kind of thing. Like it was a pretty cool band. And unfortunately, we're just young and crazy. We kind of lost the grip on it, and it's just came apart. And actually, we have 45 called King of the City, and it's one of the most wanted uh, um, 45s on the collector side. It's a collector's item, and I've been offered like a lot of money for it, and I only have two left, so I'm not parting with it. But that's pretty cool to think about. Your first band has one of the most wanted collector's items as a record. It's a little 45. You won't recognize me, but it's me. Anyway, yeah. So I lost my thread again. maybe the wine is hitting me. Um, and what was that? What was your last question?
Oh yeah, we were just talking about like having a band like overseas versus here
Okay.
in the States and stuff.
So the band overseas is a heavyweight band. I have guys that are very respected in the industry, and they're great. But as I said, I cannot say anything about it. However, if that band hits the road, it's going to be really really cool. Um, I'm waiting for the results. I have a team of people like looking at paperwork right now. You know, uh, attorneys and two attorneys, an agent, and so on, and plus the people on the other side, which is my management. They're looking at it as well. So we're going to back and forth thing. So until that settles, I can't say anything. But I like the idea of a band. That's the point that I was getting to. I like to have a band that everybody has bring something to the table, meaning stylistically, and then and then create that one sound that that band has. Like for example, Deep Purple, all those big bands that every individual guy has their own style, and combined together they sound like Deep Purple. Zeppelin, all those bands. So I do like. I would rather have one band that's completely solid. I don't care if it's in China, in Europe, or here, but that is the same. That they are the same guys like for a long time. So can develop that on stage personality and creativity as well. Because I'm really big on improvising and even I'm big on songs. I love to improv as well. It just shows a lot of the looseness on stage. And so I like the band thing. I like to have the one band. About them, what nationality or where to have them, I I don't really dig that because a lot of times like as me instead of being hired to travel for other it means instead of being hired by other artists to travel to Europe or other countries, they go and hire somebody in this country. So it kind of gets me out of a gig, you know.
Oh yeah, no,
So
definitely.
so I don't agree, but I agree in the point that if that's the band that I'm going to keep and I'm going to keep working with, yes, I don't care where they're from, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Have you, being that you like, being a that you're a band guy, that's how you see yourself, that's how you kind of like dig on it. Was there ever a thought process behind using a band name? Even as part of this current situation where there's kind of like an American version versus like a European version. Um, Although ideally, you said you'd love to have the version. Did you ever think of like using like a band name as which would also kind of allow for members to you know to kind of come and go potentially, as opposed to like Vick and Friends? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yes, I run right through my head. To not just submit my head, and I love band names. I love cool bands names. Like Viking was such a cool name back then in the '80s, late '80s, and I played for a band called Foxy years ago. I mean, that was a little too girlish for me. I like manly man bands. But I like the band's names. I thought about it. I had discussed it with actually with management, but it turned out into a nightmare. And the reason why I use my name more than a band, because a lot of these bands it's just one guy and he owns the band's name and everything else and hires the rest. That's usually how it works. I hate to disappoint everybody, but I worked like or two guys or whatever. So it turned into this go back and forth, this name, this other name, this other, all this, like we're concentrating more on what the name should have been than working and getting work for the band, you know.
Sure.
I think that a band, the reason why I use my name is not an egotistic thing. It's at all. I mean, look, we'll have an ego. It's where we use it and where we put the ego. I put it on stage. I put it on my songwriting. I put it on my guitar playing. You know, I don't throw it at people when I get off stage. I'm just like you and everybody else. That's down there. You know. Um, but I think that the reason why I know the reason why I used it years and years ago when I was in the Blue Moon. I had the Vick LeCar's Blue Moon. We were talking about with the record company about getting a name, and I feel like this name again, the same thing. This other name. Oh, no, no. But like, so the record company came up to me out of Sweden. Came up to me and they said, like, look, man, you have thinking of commercially, you're attached to a humongous name. I think we should use your name, and you have a cool name. You know, it's Vick LeCar plays guitar. You know, it rhymes. So we all thinking. I spoke to my manager at the time, and he was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, let's just do something like Vick LeCar and then use something else, and that's where it came out with the Blue Moon. You know, those were great guys, by the way, like Mike Scioto, Danny Miranda from Kiss. I'm not from Kiss, from Queen, four-letter word, from Queen, and he played with everybody. He played with Midlove, and it was an all-star band as well. Uh, but uh, um, but we decided on going with my name up front, and then it has been like I've been like just basically me, you know. Hiring musicians here, hiring musicians there to play my songs and all that stuff. And I don't mean in my mind, because I treat everybody like a band. You know, I'd ask for suggestions. I ask for, you know, how they feel about this, how they feel, and every word is considered and it's taken in consideration. It's not just a make believe thing. The carrot in front of the stick with a carrot, you know, or the carrot on the with a stick. I forgot the saying. So yeah, I consider band names all the time, and you know sometimes I have got calls. I'm not going to tell you who, but with bands and I kind of turned down a few that I kind of regretted because it would have as my level of popularity would have escalated much more if I would have accepted certain gigs. But I think that keeping honest, the purity of your music is a big value for an artist. You know, um, it's musical prostitution. It's not something that that have been. And don't get me wrong, and in a very humble way, I can play all different kinds of music. You know, I can turn around. But I just decided I'm doing what I love doing, and what I do is hard rock with a blues edge, and that's me. You know. Now if there's a call from a band that kind of fits in, and I fit in, and so on, we'll take that in consideration. But you know, I'm just it's just that like when you become the person that writes everything, plays everything, produces everything,
Mm-hmm.
directs everything, you know, and pay for most of the things, then
Yeah.
then kind of uh, you get on your own road, and like you say, it's like your thing. It's like owning a company almost, you know. It's like you can't go and work for somebody else after you own a company. And I have friends that own different companies, from construction companies to whatever, lawyer buildings and things like that, and they can't go and work for somebody else. They got to be themselves, and unfortunately, that's what it becomes as the business part of it. And one thing that I would like to pass on to other musicians is that learn your fucking business. Learn the business part of music, because you're gonna get steamrolled, you're gonna get roamed, you're gonna get screwed like a prostitute in the middle of an army base. You know, if you don't learn your stuff, man, I'm telling you, you're gonna feel like you made it and that you're making a lot of money, but then everything gets taken out of you from under your feet if you don't know where you stand. You know,
Yeah.
keep your publishing and keep your mastering all the time. Negotiate with them, but don't give them everything. You know, because
Yeah.
then you're back to nothing, and somebody else owns your intellectual property. That's not but just by the way, legally, you own your mastering as soon as you finish recording, even if somebody else pays for it. If a record company signs you up and they give you a big amount of money up front, you know, then it's sort of, it's not understood. It has to be on writing that they own the master until whatever time they give you, certain time, or if you're stupid enough, just let them have it, and then they'll have it and they'll own it until your copyright are done, which is, I think, like 30 some more years by now, or maybe 20. I'm not sure, but it's a lot of years, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for other younger generations of musicians, learn your laws, learn your thing. I didn't know anything about it. I used to ask my son about it. Now I'm much more informed, and I learned the hard way, you know, about the legalities of music, of who owns who and what's what, and how it works, you know. And
Sure.
But yeah, so that answers why I use my name.
Yeah, no, absolutely, brother. No, for sure. You talked earlier about New Orleans being a little tricky when it comes to like rock bands playing out, which I'll admit I found that to be kind of interesting. I never really, I always thought that would have actually been a really solid place to go down to. There's another band that I'm familiar with that's more you know, the gothy side of what I listen to, in a band called Dead Sled Funeral Company that are from New Orleans. But I found it kind of interesting that you were saying that rock music is a little tricky down in New Orleans. Are they still pretty like jazz, you know, heavy down there? Like, what is it about the New Orleans scene that seems to be more dominant?
Look, New Orleans is a beautiful. I love it here. It's really nice. But the music, what it is like there's a lot of tourism. So a lot of tourists come to here and listen to what grows here, you know, and jazz grows here, and New Orleans music, Zydeco grows here. So all the venues that play music nonstop, they have that. And then you have Bourbon Street, which is like it's almost like a red district, you know, of musicians that they're all like just playing covers, and sometimes you walk from one place to another, and they're all playing the same. They're playing the same songs, you know.
Yeah.
But my low battery thing is coming up. But anyway, rock is very tricky over here. It's very it's hard to, unless you play covers, and I don't like doing covers. I do I do like my own remakes of covers at times when I go jam and all this stuff. But it's just me. You can't say like, oh man, that guy's playing you know, whatever song, you know, by this band. He's playing that song his own way. That's a different thing, you know. I do that all the time, you know. But and I was hired. I got hired by a fusion band, a big artist down here. He passed away. I got hired by him a few times as well, you know. But it's not a rock place. I tell you that flat out. When I first moved here, I go like, man, I got it made. Are you kidding me? All the music here. I don't even have to go anywhere to play live, and it's hard for rock to get gig, especially if you're an original band. There are places like Southport is pretty big. They have bands like Crowbar, but they're not in New Orleans. They're like on the outsides of it, like Metairie and places like that. It's a bit different. You know, it's a different crowd. Completely.
Okay. I can definitely understand that. Like, have you mentioned that you're not really like the biggest like covers guy, but you know you're down for it and kind of like tweaking things. Have you ever thought, or do the opportunities ever present themselves kind of in this area, like over the years, and people that you know Angel and I have either gotten to know or people that we are already friends with? A lot of them will do those kind of like ultimate jam night type situations. You know, just a lot of peers from the community, from you know the rock scene and stuff like that. You know, like Tyson Leslie from Vixen does one, and my buddy Ace does stuff with Michael Thomas from Adler. All these different kind of guys that have their own, it seems, different ways of doing like ultimate jam night and stuff like that. Is that ever something that you would or do get involved in?
I do. I go to jams and all that stuff nonstop. But once again, I just go and I pick up the chords and I listen to it. And I have a saying. Like they ask me, do you know this song? I'm like, if you know it, I know it, which means I'll follow up. You know what I mean? It's like that's one of the things of like developing quick skills. You can change the course really quick, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I do that because, as I said, I have to be playing live. I have to keep my feet wet, and I just love playing, you know. So it's not money has never driven me to anything, to do anything at all. Everything I do for the love of. But but I have to make a living. You know what I mean? I have
Of
bills to
course.
pay just like everybody else. So so music is something that I have dedicated my life to. So what up? And I'm pretty decent at what I do, so I expect to get paid for what I do. You know,
Oh,
um,
definitely.
and I mean that with a great amount of humbleness. You know,
Oh, of
but
course. No, absolutely. No, that's conversations that like, I've had with other stuff that I do, outside of like the day job and stuff like that's, shows that I do or internet stuff that I'll do, whether it be this show or other shows. Like those are all conversations that I've had with my various peers and stuff like that too, where it's like, hey, I'm comfortable doing X, Y, and Z, but when it comes to like doing this, doing that, or going here, maybe this opportunity or that opportunity, it's like we need to start, certain compensations and stuff like that. We hold ourselves in a certain amount of regard. We hold ourselves with a certain amount of value, and we also believe that we've shown that we're worth it. That we're a juice that's worth the squeeze, kind of a thing. And
oh yeah, but
so I definitely understand and respect 100% like where you're coming from with something like that.
yeah,
Absolutely, man.
you have to value yourself. If you don't value yourself, nobody else is going to value. You know, you're going to have no value in somebody else's eyes. That's for sure. You know what I mean? So what you do is worth a lot. What I do, but everything that you do is worth something. You know, and art is not something that comes. It comes out of nowhere because it's born with you. But you know that. So yeah. So you should get paid for whatever you do. You know.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. No,
not
100% on that for sure. Fans, I want to let you guys know it's getting to about that time, but we're still going to rock out with Vic for a little bit longer because we're having such a great conversation. We love to talk up all the stuff that he's got coming for us and all that good stuff. But it is going to be last call for alcohol, fans. Final questions, comments, anything that you guys want to ask Vic, any curiosities that you've got, or where he might, or what he might be doing in the upcoming end of this year in 2025. Of course, you got to respect and understand that there's certain things that he's not disclosed to talk about in depthly yet. But anything that you want to know, any curiosities you have about his upcoming schedule, please don't be shy. Pump them into the comments. Angel and I will always get to them and clear out the board. But so when it comes to like concentrating, of course, on the record, with what we've discussed that you're able to discuss so far, how have you found the pieces to be going? You definitely seem excited about the music that you've been writing, but how has the flow been, as well as the pieces like coming together? One of the things that Angel and I love to talk to musicians about, because it's such awesome and killer insight, is when do you know that a song is done?
you don't. A song is never done to me. It's a song takes its own kind of life. You know what I mean? So like when you play it live, it's like there's nothing more that bores me personally. Is that to hear a band do the song the same way that they recorded it. There's nothing else to it. But why am I going to pay a ticket? Just go and play the record, right? But a song is like. It's so expressive, man. There's this song that I have that will be coming out at one point. It's called "Solitary Man." That I love the song, and it just came out like it just came out of my mouth, like everything, the lyrics, the chords, the structure, it just did. And that song, it takes shape by itself practically. You know, it's pretty weird to write songs like that. But then there's another songs that I have to kind of chisel out of myself, you know, just to get him out. But the best ones are the easiest one, the one that just came out. Uh, but I don't think they're ever done because I tell you what, I go and listen to stuff that I thought it was really good when I finished. I go listen and go, oh man, I should have done that there. I should have stretched that note a little more. I should have played it a little faster there, a little, you know. So they're never done. But so I recording for so long, I came out with this thing. I go, does it feel right? Does it have to feel? Is everything nice and tuned and correct and the meters right and all this stuff? And does it feel good? Does it make me feel good? It does. If it has those four things, I'm done. You know, I just drop it. Because if it's not, you're going to keep working and working and working. It turns into one song can turn into you know, a pain in the ass more than just the beautiful thing of that a song could be. You know.
Yeah. No, 100% for sure. And I'm creeping into Angel's territory a little bit on this, but like when you're putting together your songs, what's usually your starting point? Do you have a title? Do you have a riff, or do you have like a story behind the song first?
It's all different. It's always different. Sometimes, as I said, as I told you earlier, like I can walk by and I come up with a riff or something, and then I take the riff, and then I just start developing on it, you know, and then I put lyrics in. Sometimes the lyric comes in, like something hit me, or like I have an experience with something, you know, and then whatever. I got insulted somebody trying to say that I had that I live in a glass castle. You know, I don't live in a glass castle. So I just came out with this whole song that's called I build my castle on rock. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, yeah, man, yeah, fuck you. I don't live in a glass castle. I live in a rock castle. So it's like an experience itself. You grab it and build on it. You know, so so it varies. It's never the same. You know. Sometimes I go in Logic and I put a rhythm, a drum beat, and I write to that. It's like, oh, this is pretty cool. You know what I mean? So, and I, you know, stuff like that. Then I like playing with chords and write something more mellow and come up with something like that, you know. But one of the most important things is the melody that you come up with, because you can play one chord and one great melody can be a big hit, you know. I have a song called Never Stranded. It's one of my favorite songs ever. And it's how Jolene Turner sang it originally. And I think that's a great song because it's very simple and it gets to the point, and it's like a mini biography of my life, you know, since I was 14. So, and that also came out like out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, you know, just quick. So it varies. That's my answer. I can answer you like, I can't get too technical. Oh, so with this and that, you know.
Sure. Absolutely. When you're putting together like a record, just a record in general, whether you can look back on your previous catalogs or just kind of the way you look at when you want to put out a bulk amount of music, when you're putting together like the track listings of these new songs, do you find that you like to group what you're releasing as like all a similar pattern? Like I kind of want to put out an EP of just driving rock music, or you know what, I want to put out this album that's kind of more of my softer side, that's maybe more melodically driven, maybe a little bit more balladish. Or do you like to have a record that's got that kind of flow of anything that a person might want to listen to at any given time?
Yeah, I think I'm more like a sign of the time, like the time where you're going through at the time, the period of time. So like I like to be versatile musically on the songs. You know, like if you listen to Put Your Hands Up to the whole EP, you see that some songs starts nice and mellow, some have keyboards, the other one starts heavy. I like I like to change it around. I like different things on it. You know, I think. And that's what I like to hear as well. Like if I go, even though I like hard driven albums, you know, Slash had this album with Snake Pit, and it was not a very popular album, but it was great, man. It was like, it's just so driven. The whole album is like so cool. I forgot the name of it. It's a Light Grand or something like that.
Slash Snake Pit.
Yeah, it's on Light Grand. I think that's the name of the album. But it's everything is like pump, and I love it, man. I crank it up and just rock out in my room by myself and all this stuff. But I love albums like that as well. But I like the idea of low battery again. I love ideas. I love the idea of having different things. Like if you listen to something a little bit more mellow, a little bit more melodic, you know.
Yeah.
But do you guys mind if I like plug my phone and I put you on?
No, not at all.
Phone? Okay.
No, you're all good, brother. Absolutely.
Give me a minute, please.
Of course.
You guys get the questions meanwhile.
No worries. No, absolutely, fans. You guys have been great as always. We always love rocking out with you guys. Keep in mind that we always want to be respectful of our guest time. Vic has given us a lot of time already, and we also want to be courteous of his evening as well. And so we're going to continue to rock out with him for a little while longer, like I said before. So keep in mind that we do have a little bit of a clock tick on this episode, but you guys have been great as always, and we're going to get to the questions that Angel and I can see. So as always, keep it going, keep it rocking. We appreciate you guys so much for showing Vic so much love, showing the show so much love, and showing Angel so much love.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, Vic's getting all situated back in. A little fun thing for anybody who is going to be also in the New Jersey area this weekend, you can come find me in Edison. Tomorrow and Saturday, I'm going to be hanging out at the New Jersey Horror Con. My side gig got picked up there. So myself and you guys know our colleague Ron from Empire Extreme, he and I do a side gig involving horror movies, the podcast outside of the Metal Summit known as Vampire and Devil. Well, we got picked up for press involving the New Jersey Horror Con. So me and Ron are going to be rocking out in New Jersey over the next couple of days. And if you can find us and show us that you follow the show, we might have swag to be giving away. So anybody who can locate the Vampire and the Devil at New Jersey Horror Con, come and see us, come and find us, because it's going to be a great time for all.
Yep. Back on the turnpike.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep, we hear you. That's awesome.
Do you see Scully over here?
Yeah.
Sure do.
I used to bring this baby out in the gigs, to get the evil spirit off stage.
Nice. I love it.
I'm full of surprises, aren't I?
That's awesome, for sure. Hey,
go ahead.
Angel, let's kick it up to you a little bit, my guy.
I cannot stop thinking about them two guitars you got in the background. The V-neck and the one that looks like Slash guitar.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that one and the V-neck.
Yeah, this one is well, as you know, my main guitar is the Les Paul Standard, and I don't know if you guys know, but that was signed by Les Paul in 1989 and in 1999 as well on the back. It says to Vick, keep him picking. So that has been my guitar. Then I picked this one out because I had a Strat, and then I was playing, and if I break a string, then I go on from like to a clink 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 with the Strat. So then I picked this one up. So I swapped the Strat for this one and this V over here. I'll show it to you. This V is like killer sounding as well. Where is it? This one you mean, right?
Yep.
I don't even know if it's in tune or not. I love it, but you know something? It's too uncomfortable for me to play on stage. So I'm thinking about selling it. What's the humming so much? But it's a cool looking guitar, right?
Yeah.
That one and this other one. This Les Paul. It's literally just like my white one, the standard Les Paul. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's the same model basically. I just have a thing for Les Pauls, man. And I have I got a couple more guitars, but they're up in the closet. You can never have enough guitars, you know. And this over here, it's a Ronaldo custom. I have this one since 1987, I think. The same year as my white Les Paul. I had a custom. Oops. I had a custom made by Ronaldo out of Union City, New Jersey, and I have my guy over here. My guitar tech name is Jim. Jersey, Jim. He was from Jersey. Fix it because this guitar has been through hell. This one I call Pale Horse because I have worked with it so much, you know, and it's a. So do out of tune, but yeah. So this one is pretty cool. I like the reverse headstock, you know, honoring Hendrix type of thing, you know. But my Les Paul is the one that I use the most, the wide one that I have most of the recording. I'm doing some recordings. I think I want to use the one that Al gave me because the pickups they sound really great. Like live, it was screaming, and people like all the guitar players say, "What kind of pickups you have on the guitar, man?" I'm like, I don't even know, you know. But it's interesting. Yeah, so that's my guitars. As I said, you can never have enough guitars, you know. Can you see me there?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, that's the other tune. But anyway, so do we have any more questions?
No, that actually clears the boards.
You clear the board?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can barely hear you because I have you on speakerphone, and I don't think the speakerphone is working.
No, that actually clears the boards.
The what?
That actually clears the boards.
Okay.
Yeah. So
but I do have one final question.
Yes.
How do you decide which songs to play live?
That's a good question. I usually pick from different albums, different singles, different. I just try to keep it really pumping live, to be honest with you, because I have short attention span. So when I go see a band and they start getting too mellow or too many drum solos, it kind of gets you bored, you know. So I try to keep a level of energy on the music live, and then just bring a ballad, one ballad maybe, you know, and then kick it back up. But I try to keep an up tempo, so I pick the songs that have a higher BPM than most songs, you know. So that's how I pick it. And what's really catchy, like something. I have a saying like if you write a song and you can't remember the next day, nobody else will. So I try to play the songs that I remember the next day after I write them, you know. And I very rarely play songs that I have not recorded. So most everything that I play live, I can record it someplace, some way. They could be found, you know.
Yeah. No, 100% for sure. Because that's the thing when it comes to like music, it's all about that staying power as well. I mean, there's great songs out there that can be forgotten because they might. It's not that they're not well written. It's not that they're not catchy. It's not that they're not singable. Maybe they're just missing like something that doesn't quite snag for the long run. Whether it's the lack of a chorus, maybe the lack of a certain like drum fill, maybe the lack of like a certain like guitar solo. Like there's just different songs that grip people for like different reasons. But the staying power of music has always been like so strong. I mean, there's classic songs that you remember for all kinds of various reasons. Like a song like Phil Collins's, In the Air Tonight has always been marked by that drum solo in the middle. You've got the intro to Home Sweet Home from Motley Crue is definitely something that sticks with you. It's something that's definitely recognizable and stuff like that. As well as like guitar solos in something like Sweet Child of Mine or November Rain. Like there's definitely the ability for songs to grip and stay with you. So I think that's actually a really great way to put it, Vic, is like if it's not something that you remember, if it's not something that like resonates with you, despite the fact you're always going to have so much love and so much, enjoyment of your own music, the fact that you recognize that, hey, if it's not something that's going to instantly hit your brain, even as the creator, somebody who's completely not familiar with your music might not grip it at all.
Well, that actually, remember that thing I forgot. This is what it was. I was going to tell you, like, one of the most important things that an artist itself should know, or should concentrate on, and being happy with you playing. Because what happens, a lot of people, and I've been in bands like this, like, you got to play what people want to hear. You're going to play what people. I'm like, no, I want to play what I want to hear. And if that drops people, then it's artistry, then it's art, then it's working. You know what I mean? If you play something like purposely, oh, I'm gonna make a whole lot of thousands of dollars playing this for these guys, because I'm gonna make it this way. That shit never works, and it has very short legs. I think that art itself is what works. Something that comes from the heart, from the soul, something like that. That's that one song that I have, My Guitar and I. Has a line that I wrote. It goes from your soul to steel and to the wood and steel, which means it goes from your soul to your guitar, And I think that's what counts the most. It's like all that stuff that they call you weird, that you're weird because of you saying things like that. But that's what counts. Is that you have to love what you do. That's art. Like playing something purposely or because people want to hear this. That's one of the reasons why I don't do covers, because I play for myself, and as much as I love Zeppelin with a passion, I love a lot of. I don't play the cover, and I don't have the patience to sit and break down like. And by the way, do you know that 90% of guitar players play a whole lot of love, which is one very simple riff. They play it wrong, Everybody goes, but it's not like that. He's letting this. So he's playing the D open. So it's going.
Okay.
And then bending the A string a little bit. So that's what creates that sound. Pretty interesting for someone that doesn't play covers.
Right.
Well,
oh, that's cool. No, right on, man. I like that for sure. Angel, let me kick it back to you, brother, because it looks like we got another question came in.
Yeah, questions from Mike. What would be your encore song?
My encore song,
Yep.
It probably will be a whole lot of love. I'm sorry, but I'm not. And I'm not kidding. That's what gets me, because I do a version that I start out completely different. I'm sorry, guitar's a little bit out of tune, but it usually works really good with the crowd, because then towards the end of the song, which is completely ripping it. You know what I mean? Like it works to a double time and really heavy and a lot of guitar playing. But it's that's what I do usually as an encore. But on my own songs, like when I don't do that, what was the encore was like, actually it was Never Stranded for a long time. One of my songs called Never Stranded, and now I'm literally working up a new set, because I have another 10 songs out and recording more right now. So I'm working out a set where I have more songs, but yeah, Never Stranded is an up-tempo song, and when I'm doing like gigs around here, small gigs, it's a whole lot of love. I do that, my version of it. I apply myself to it, and I turn it into heavy but funky. You got to hear it. It's hard to imagine, but it works. People love it, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows, the riff of a whole lot of love. So as soon as you hit that. As soon as you hit that, everybody goes crazy for it,
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure. Angel, anything final from yourself, my man, before we allow Vic to enjoy the rest of his evening and let the Metal Summoners enjoy theirs?
Nope.
Nothing,
No.
Angelo.
Oh, just one more question.
Oh, we got one more.
I dig Condor Pass.
What about it?
No, he said that. Yes, he digs that song.
Yes, I have played that song. Actually, it was honoring. It's really hard for me to say my heritage. It's my heritage, or literally Europeans, but it's honoring where the area that I was born. Um, I was born in Chile, Santiago, and there was the indigenous from Peru, which is the higher up country, higher than Border Patrol, and believe it, they had that song. That's where the song came from. But they played with I forgot the name of it. I've been here for too long. But they played with wind instruments, and I just brought it out, played. I did play it with electric guitar, and a killer drum solo from the first one on that Six Shooter album. Killer drum solo from a very good friend of mine named Dino Castano. Look him up. He's a killer drummer. He's got some stuff coming out, more progressive metal, with a band Sanatoria. I forgot the name of it, but something like that. But Dino Castano, I call him my Kumba. We you know, he's all Italian. I'm only half, but you know, he's my Kumba. You know. So yeah, he played a killer solo on that song, and then Marcus Giotto played it on the Blue Moon. Also played a pretty cool solo as well. You know, they're both good. But Dino got some pretty good work with that solo. You know, so I'm glad that he did well with it.
Absolutely. 100% for sure. Well, Vic, man, we can't thank you enough, man, for wanting to come back on the show, but also always being supportive of the show and, you know, telling us more about, you know, your story, talking about, you know, coming back with your health and getting new music out there, man. We really appreciate that you thought of us as something that could hopefully benefit what you wanted to talk about. So we really always appreciate your time, man.
Of course, man. I appreciate you guys having me and taking your time. And, you know, once again, it's my pleasure. And once I can openly, freely speak of what's coming up, I will. I will send you a message, and we'll do it again. Because I have a lot of fun with you guys. You know,
absolutely.
You guys are a little bit. You guys are a bit quiet this time, but it's okay. I know that he's got COVID. I can't believe you had freaking COVID.
Nah, no worries, man. We always got you, man. You're our bro. We're always down to get you out there. Yeah, I think we're just there was more of, I think, like kind of like this was our ballad type of episode, but I think it was also because we wanted to be, of course, respectful of, like, you know, the information and like certain, like, you know, like I said, the legalities of certain things as well. And, you know, but when we'll really be able to like dive in deep, we'll get that high octane back in there as well. But I mean, honestly, but it's still been an hour and 40 minutes that have felt like 25.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes to me, man.
I know, exactly. It's only felt like a couple of minutes, but it's definitely been on for a little while. But Vic, thank you so much, man. But before we cut you loose, please let the Metal Summoners and remind your fans and everybody, where can you be found? Where can your music be found?
Do a Google search. You can find me everywhere. Right now, it's SoundCloud. The new EP is there. It's out already on that, and it should be online. All over the place and on every platform. I closed down my my website with my name on it, but they can find me on Facebook and Instagram and all those good stuff. I still should be in Spotify. I'm sorry, I forget the name of so many freaking platform shit. Years ago, it was really simple. You go play the departments.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I can be found online, and I answer every question. And especially if I have the time, that is. But I have time now, so it would be great to hear from all of you. And once again, thank you guys for having me. And I hope you enjoyed my stories and my ideas and things. You know.
Oh, always, man.
And everybody,
we got more to talk about.
What was that?
Go ahead.
No,
I said no. Keep your chin up and don't forget that everything is possible. You know.
Oh yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I mean, we got more stories to tell, more great things to talk about in the future. We always love that you plug in and jam with us and stuff. So we'll definitely let you cut loose, of course, again on our next episode as well, man. But again, we really, really appreciate you so much, man. And Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much for supporting the show, allowing myself and Angel to do all these great interviews and get to rock out and talk to Vic as well as all of our other guests. We want to give some love and a shout out to the Mad Shad from the Mad Shad channel over on YouTube. Give him a follow and a subscribe. He's the one who put together me and Angel's intro. We really appreciate him for that. So you can check him out over on YouTube. And you can follow Angel at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram. You can also find him on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram at Salem.Vampire. And make sure that you're following the Metal Summit on YouTube and Facebook in particular, because that's where the actual interviews are live. That's where you're watching Vic as we speak. And also make sure that you're following the Metal Summit on Instagram as well, because that's where we put out our initial guest announcements, so you see who we've got coming up. We will see you guys in a week. The next guest announcement will come out over the weekend, and we look forward to seeing you guys and having another great time. But hey, Vic, why don't you play us out a little bit, man? Why don't you hit us with some riffage to close out tonight's episode?
Oh, every time I get asked that, I screw it up somehow.
Never. Yes. Vick LeCar, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys all so much. Vic, thank you as always, my friend. We really appreciate you. And we'll talk soon, man. We can't wait to have you back on for more stories, and when we can really get in deep on those announcements that we scratched the surface of. It's going to be a good time again.
My pleasure. Cheers, and thank you. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Anytime. See you guys in a week, Metal Summoners. Guest announcement again over the weekends. We'll see you very, very soon. Take care. Be good to each other, and have yourselves a fantastic weekend. For Vick LeCar, for Angel Alamo, and for myself, we'll see you guys later. As always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.